Welcome to today's transformation dive into the earn flow zone, where we're unlocking the secrets to not just making money, but mastering its flow through your life. Let's be honest, shall we? In a world plastered with perfect-looking budgets and envy-inducing investment portfolios on social media, it's easy to feel like you're the only one constantly battling the financial equivalent of quicksand. You see the highlight reels, but maybe you're living the bloopers reel, right? If you're tired of the money stress roller coaster and ready to build a financial foundation that actually supports your biggest dreams, not just pays the bills, you are absolutely in the right place. This channel is all about cutting through the noise and giving you the real, actionable strategies and crucial mindset shifts you need to take control. So, if you're into real, actionable money and mindset content that actually works, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think in getting this vital information out to others who need it. And drop a comment below with where you're watching from or your biggest money habit win, no matter how small. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. You open your banking app and instinctively flinch. Sound familiar? You've been avoiding it for a few days, maybe a week, because deep down, you know it won't be pretty. It's either the fear of seeing how alarmingly little is left, or maybe, if you're in a different boat, the dread of seeing how much has vanished since payday, even though you thought you were being careful. Or perhaps you do make decent money, even good money, maybe well above average, but there's this constant, nagging feeling, where is it all going? It just seems to evaporate into thin air. You look around and see others, maybe earning less than you, who somehow seem stable, in control. They talk about savings goals and future plans without that familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach. Meanwhile, you're stuck in this seemingly endless cycle. Money comes in with a brief wave of relief. Bills go out like a tidal wave. Maybe a few fun things happen to ease the pressure, and suddenly, poof, it's gone again. The easiest, most seductive story you tell yourself in this moment is, if I just made more, everything would be fine. Ah, the siren song of higher income. This is the first and perhaps most damaging myth about money, that your problems are purely an income problem. You see the flashy headlines. How I made 6 figures in 30 days. The overnight successes that feel impossibly out of reach. The gurus selling the secret formula to doubling your money in your sleep. And you think that's the answer. More income, more hustle, more risky opportunities. You chase that next dollar, that next promotion, that side hustle that promises the moon. And maybe, just maybe, you actually achieve it. You get a raise, maybe a significant bonus, or that side hustle finally starts bringing in some noticeable cash. And for a brief, glorious moment, it felt amazing. Relief washed over you. Hope bloomed. But then, something peculiar happens. Somehow, almost effortlessly, the spending expanded to meet the new income. Maybe lifestyle inflation crept in like a stealthy ninja, upgrading your coffee habit, subscribing to all the streaming services, or just feeling a little looser with your spending. Because, hey, you could afford it now. You earned it, right? And soon, you're right back where you started, just at a higher income level. Still feeling that same knot of anxiety when the bills come due, still wondering where it all went, still dreading opening that banking app because the gap between income and savings hasn't really changed. It's just the numbers that got bigger. This one habit changed everything for me. I stopped focusing only on the income number and started focusing on the control number. The brutal, yet liberating truth is this: more income without a fundamental shift in how you handle money is like pouring more premium fuel into a bucket with a giant hole in the bottom. You're just losing a more expensive product faster. The real problem isn't always how much you make right now. It's your financial control point, that invisible locus of power determining who or what is actually directing your money's flow once it hits your account. Are you the conscious, intentional captain of your financial ship, setting the course and steering through the waves? Or is your money more like a runaway train that you're just desperately trying to keep from derailing, reacting to every turn and bump in the tracks? The cause and effect here is crystal clear. Without internal control and intention, external income increases often just lead to increased financial stress because the system is fundamentally broken. Ask yourself right now, who or what is really directing your money's flow in this moment? Is it your deliberate choices, or is it just happening to you? Section 2. Income versus the control point. All right, let's switch gears for a second. Forget income for a moment. It's often the financial vanity metric, the number we chase, but doesn't always deliver the peace we expect. Instead, I want you to think about two people you might know, maybe even yourself at different stages, or someone in your circle. Let's call them Person A and Person B. Person A makes $50,000 a year. They drive a reliable, modest car. Maybe it's paid off. Maybe the payments are low. They live in a comfortable, smaller place. They save consistently, maybe even automatically every payday. When you talk to them about money, they seem relatively calm, maybe even a little boringly responsible. Now, Person B, they make $100,000 a year, double Person A's income. Sounds great, right? But Person B leases a shiny luxury SUV, lives in a bigger place filled with more stuff. When you talk to Person B about money, it's a constant source of stress. They're always worried about bills, living paycheck to paycheck, maybe even racking up debt. It feels like they're running on a financial treadmill that's speeding up faster than they can keep pace. Now, this isn't about judging who's better or who's living the right way. Not at all. This is a crystal clear illustration of what I call the control point. Person A, despite earning significantly less, has established control over their financial flow. They decide where their money goes, and they direct a portion towards their future security. Their money serves them. Person B, with twice the income, is controlled by their spending habits, their debt obligations, and perhaps even by societal pressures to display their income level. Their money dictates their stress levels. Here's the surprising insight, and it's a powerful one. Your true financial security, your peace of mind, your ability to build wealth, it's not proportional to how much you earn. It's proportional to your level of control over where that money goes once it hits your account. Think of it like being a conductor. You can have a huge orchestra, high income, but if you can't conduct them, it's chaos. Or you can have a smaller ensemble, lower income, but conduct them beautifully, creating harmony and direction. You can earn a lot and have zero control, leading to crippling anxiety and financial fragility. You can earn less and have high control, leading to growing security, increasing options, and genuine peace. Your income is merely a number on a payslip. It's the raw potential. But your control point, that's the operating system determining your actual financial reality. It's the difference between feeling like money is something that happens to you versus something you direct. Many people chase higher incomes, believing it's the silver bullet, only to find themselves in person B's situation. The surprising fact? Often, mastering the control point at a lower income is the faster path to feeling secure and actually building wealth than simply earning more without changing your habits. Here's a reflection point I want you to sit with. Think honestly about your current income level. Now, think about how much control you feel you have over your money's journey. Is there a mismatch? Do you earn a decent amount but feel zero control? Do you earn less but feel surprisingly in control? And where do you feel the most out of control? Is it in earning it? Maybe you feel capped? In spending it? It just seems to disappear. In saving it? It feels impossible? Or in investing it? It feels too complex or risky? Pinpointing that area of least control is the first step to taking it back. Ask yourself, what is the one area of my financial life where I feel most controlled by money, rather than being in control of it? Identify that, and you found your starting line. All right, let's continue our deep dive into building a life where your money serves you, not the other way around. We've talked about setting the stage, but now it's time to get brutally honest about where you're starting from, and that means looking under the hood of your financial behavior. Today, we're finding your default operating system. Think of your brain like a computer, constantly running background processes you don't even notice. Most people don't consciously decide how they handle money. They're running on a default operating system that was installed long ago. It's built from childhood habits, societal norms absorbed from friends and media, and simple gut reactions that developed over time. It's the financial autopilot that kicks in when you're not actively thinking. Your default system is especially revealed in moments of stress or quick decisions. When unexpected money lands in your lap, maybe a small bonus or a refund, what's your immediate knee-jerk thought? Is it, treat myself? I earned this. Or, okay, how can I use this to pay down that nagging debt or boost my emergency fund? It's fascinating because both thoughts are valid, but one is likely your financial OS speaking. When a bill arrives, what happens? Do you pay it mindlessly, shove it into a dreaded to-do pile that never gets done? We've all been there. Or do you log it into a system or budget? When you see something you suddenly want, is the first thought, can I afford it? Which, let's be honest, often really means, do I have the credit or enough in my checking account right now? Or is it, does this purchase fit my overall financial plan and goals? Your current financial reality, your savings, your debt, your spending patterns, is a direct result of this default operating system running on repeat. For a beginner just starting out, the default might be as simple as, spend everything I earn, because that's what everyone does. For someone a bit further along, maybe a mid-earner, it could be, spend everything I earn, minus the absolute minimum I have to save for something big, like a house down payment. And for the ambitious person trying to climb the ladder, it might unfortunately be, spend everything I earn and then some to keep up appearances or status. The surprising insight here is that you have a system. Even if you didn't intentionally build it, design it, or even acknowledge its existence, it's running the show behind the scenes. And here's the critical part. If this default system isn't serving you, if it's leading to stress, debt, or simply stagnation instead of growth, it's time to consciously acknowledge it and begin the process of rebuilding it. You wouldn't keep running ancient, buggy software on your computer, right? So let's do this. For the next 24 hours, I want you to become a detective of your own mind. Ask yourself, What's stopping you from building the financial life you want? And to uncover that, observe your thoughts and feelings every single time money comes up. That means paying for your coffee, seeing a price tag online, checking your bank balance, even just thinking about payday. What's your immediate, knee-jerk reaction, the very first thought or feeling that pops up? Write it down if you can. This simple act of observation, just for one day, will powerfully reveal your default operating system. It's the first essential step to taking control. Okay, let's talk about where this whole control point idea gets tested, and frankly, where it fails first for most people. You've built some awareness. Maybe you're tracking larger expenses, feeling pretty good about saying no to that expensive gadget or designer item. But then you look at your bank account at the end of the month, and it feels like money just vanished. Where did it go? This is what we call the leak, where control fails first. Think of your finances like a bucket you're trying to fill. You're careful pouring in your income. You avoid knocking the whole thing over with a huge, unnecessary purchase. But there are tiny, almost invisible cracks everywhere, and the water is just dripping out. This isn't just about the occasional impulse buy that makes you groan later. It's the insidious stuff, the spending that feels so normal, so small, that your conscious brain barely registers it. It's the $5 coffee you grab every weekday morning. That's $25 a week, over $100 a month, pushing $1,300 a year. For coffee, it's the streaming subscriptions you signed up for during lockdown and haven't touched in months. But the $10 or $15 comes out like clockwork. It's the convenience foods, the lunches grabbed out because you didn't pack one, the little snacks here and there. It's the minor upgrades you tell yourself you need. It's buying something just because it's on sale and feels like a bargain, even if you wouldn't have bought it otherwise. Or, and this one's sneaky, buying something because it feels like everyone else has it, and you don't want to be left out, the financial equivalent of showing up to a potluck with a single bag of chips when everyone else brought homemade lasagna. You see a $100 shirt, you pause, you think about your goals, and you decide against it. You feel disciplined. You feel in control. High five, right? But then, over the next couple of days, you buy a $4 coffee here, a $12 lunch there, a $7 snack on the way home, and maybe a $20 evening takeout because you're tired. $43 gone without a second thought. These decisions feel normal or necessary in the moment, like tiny pebbles you drop into the ocean. They seem to make no splash. But drop enough pebbles consistently, and you build a mountain. The surprising insight here, the one that challenges how many people think about saving, is that often the biggest drain on your financial health isn't the occasional large purchase you agonize over. It's the consistent, unconscious trickle of small, seemingly insignificant spending decisions. This is precisely where your control point is weakest for many people. You're making dozens, sometimes hundreds, of small spending decisions daily. Click Add to Cart, tap your card, grab that item, without conscious thought or true alignment with your financial goals. It's like trying to train for a marathon while constantly snacking on tiny, sugary treats. Individually, they seem harmless, but cumulatively, they sabotage your progress entirely. So how do you start addressing these hidden leaks? You can't fix a problem you can't see. Action. Here's a simple, powerful step. Pick one small spending category. Maybe it's coffee, or snacks, or subscriptions, or eating lunch out. Just one. For the next 7 days, consciously track every single dollar spent in just that category. Don't try to change your habits yet. Don't try to spend less. Just observe. Write it down. Put it in a note on your phone. Use a simple tracking app. Whatever is easiest. See the leak firsthand. Watch where those drips are really going. This one habit changed everything for me in understanding my own spending blind spots. Section 5. Tracking, the foundational power-up. So, you're ready to move beyond just thinking about financial growth and actually step into the arena. You've got some goals forming, a desire for change sparking. What's the absolute non-negotiable first move? It's not about finding the hottest investment trend or the most complex budgeting app right out of the gate. It's far more fundamental and, honestly, far less glamorous. It's tracking. Yes, I know, the word alone can sound like nails on a chalkboard. Boring, tedious, effortful. But here's the simple, unvarnished truth. You cannot control what you do not understand. And you cannot understand where your money is going unless you track it. This isn't just about knowing your big bills. It's about uncovering the dozens, maybe hundreds, of small decisions you make with your money every single month. And confronting those decisions can feel uncomfortable. It forces you to stare directly at where your cash actually flows, not the tidy, wishful version you hold in your head. The resistance you might feel right now, the excuses bubbling up like, I pretty much know where it goes, or it's too much work, or worse, it's going to make me feel terrible about myself. That's your default system, your comfort zone, fighting back. Your default thrives in the dark corners of financial ambiguity. It prefers you stay guessing, reactive, and slightly overwhelmed, because that way you don't challenge the status quo. Let me tell you about countless people just like you who hit this exact wall. Take John, who was convinced his finances were mostly fine, just a little tight. He resisted tracking for years. He was sure he didn't have any bad habits, maybe just a few necessary expenses. When he finally committed to tracking every dollar for just 1 month, the curtain was pulled back. He discovered he was spending over $400 a month, alone, on impulse purchases and eating out. Small things he barely registered, but which added up to a significant chunk of change he swore he didn't have available for savings or paying down debt. His necessary expenses weren't the problem. It was the unnoticed bleed from micro-decisions. Here's the surprising, paradigm-shifting insight. Tracking isn't about restriction. It's not about shame. It's about information. Think of your finances like a room that's been getting messier over time. You know there's stuff in there, but it feels overwhelming to clean because you can't really see the extent of the mess or where anything is. Tracking is like finally flipping on the lights. Suddenly, you can see everything. The clutter, the valuable items, the forgotten corners. Only then can you make a plan to tidy up. It immediately shifts your financial control point. You move from a reactive guess mode, just hoping there's enough money for the next thing and reacting when there isn't, to informed decision-making. You know exactly what's happening, giving you the power to choose what happens next. Action. This step is non-negotiable. Seriously, if you want to see real change, you must do this. For the next 3 days, I want you to track every single dollar you spend. Every coffee, every snack, every subscription charge, every bill payment, every random online purchase. Use whatever method works best for you. A dedicated tracking app on your phone, a simple spreadsheet on your computer, or even a small notebook you keep in your pocket. The method matters less than the discipline of doing it. Don't judge what you're spending as you record it. Don't try to change your habits yet. Just record it. Capture the data. No excuses. This isn't about being perfect. It's about gaining perfect clarity. While you're tracking those dollars, celebrating those small wins, or maybe feeling the pinch of your current reality, you might still be thinking, almost subconsciously, yeah, but if I could just land that whale of a client, or if I finally got that massive promotion I deserve, or maybe if only my side hustle would finally blow up and go viral, then I could actually get control. That's when things would really change. This is what we call the big break myth. It's the seductive idea that a sudden, large, often external event, a windfall, a lucky break, a massive sale, is going to be the magic wand that fixes your entire internal financial system. You think it's the solution, but here's the surprising and perhaps uncomfortable truth. It won't. Or more accurately, it won't fix anything structurally. Imagine pouring $1 million into a leaky bucket. Does the bucket hold more water? For a moment, maybe. But if the leaks aren't fixed, it's all going to drain out anyway. This is the fundamental cause effect here. If your default financial system, your internal control point, is set up to spend everything, or, let's be honest, sometimes more, that comes in, a big break doesn't make you rich. It just means you'll be spending or losing a bigger amount at a faster pace. We see this play out in the real world constantly, and it's often heartbreaking. You hear stories of lottery winners who go broke within a few years, highly paid athletes who lose fortunes after retirement, sudden inheritors who squander massive estates without a trace. This isn't some cosmic bad luck curse. It's a direct result of a lack of a robust, ingrained control point, capable of handling, managing, and growing a sudden influx of wealth. They didn't have the system in place before the money arrived. The genuinely surprising insight, the one that really shifts the game, is this: sustainable wealth, true financial security, and lasting peace aren't built on hoping for or landing big breaks. They are built brick by brick on small, consistent habits, executed faithfully over time. These are the habits that reflect a strong, disciplined control point. It's the equivalent of hitting the gym consistently, doing the meal prep, tracking your progress, rather than waiting for a magic pill or a celebrity trainer to suddenly fix everything. It's the daily practice, the mindful decisions, the automated savings transfers, the regular budget reviews, the boring stuff. Focusing intensely on the big break is, more often than not, a sophisticated form of procrastination. It's a way to avoid doing the necessary, sometimes uncomfortable, often mundane work of actually building your system. It's a distraction from taking control today with the resources and income you currently have, however modest they might seem compared to the dreamed-of windfall. Ask yourself, how much mental energy do you honestly spend thinking about future windfalls, lucky breaks, or external solutions to your financial situation, compared to the energy you spend actively working on and fixing your daily, weekly, and monthly financial habits? Is this focus serving you, or is it simply distracting you from the powerful, incremental progress you could be making starting right now? All right, you've done the crucial first step. You've watched where the money goes. You've tracked. You have awareness. You are tracking, right? Seriously, this isn't optional. If you skip tracking, the next step is just guessing, And finance isn't a guessing game you want to play unprepared. Now that you have that clarity, that snapshot of reality, you can finally start building your intentional control point. This is where the real engineering begins. Think of it like this. Before, money was a runaway train, just speeding through your account, picking up whatever impulse items were standing by the tracks. Now, we're going to lay down channels. We're going to start directing that flow like water through irrigation pipes, strategically, purposefully, to where you want it to go. This isn't about building a cage for your money. It's about building a system, a guided path. The essence of building this financial system starts with a powerful decision made before a single dollar from your paycheck hits your checking account and decides it wants to go buy fancy coffee. This is the core of budgeting. But let's ditch the image of painful restriction and scraping by. That's the old, broken view of budgeting. We're not doing that. We're doing something far more empowering. Allocating your resources. You're not saying no to things. You're saying yes to your goals, your future, and your peace of mind by deciding where the money's energy will be spent. It's like a head chef planning the menu and ordering ingredients before the dinner rush. You know exactly what goes where to create the desired outcome. The absolute cornerstone of this intentional design is the principle of pay yourself first. This means, the very moment, or even the day after your paycheck lands, you immediately move money to savings, investments, debt payoff, or whatever your top financial priority is, automatically. Set up transfers so 10% goes to savings, X goes to your investment account, Y goes to tackling that credit card debt. Then, and only then, do you allocate funds for your essential bills, like rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance. After that, you allocate for needs, groceries, transport. And finally, you allocate funds for wants, entertainment, dining out, hobbies. This process forces your spending money, the amount you see readily available in your checking account, to be based on what's left after you've funded your future and covered your essentials. It's not based on the total, initially overwhelming amount that lands in your account, which can trigger impulse decisions like, wow, I have so much money right now. It's a fundamental shift in perspective and action. And here's the truly surprising insight. The paradox that most people miss. You gain more freedom by setting these clear boundaries and allocations up front. How? Because you eliminate decision fatigue throughout the month. Can I afford this? What about that bill? You remove the power of impulse. If the money for wants isn't there because it's already been allocated to savings or bills, the decision is made for you, effortlessly. You're not restricting yourself. You're ensuring your money flows to what truly matters most to you, automatically building the life you actually want. It's less like a straitjacket and more like giving your money a GPS. Based on your tracking data from the previous step, identify just one area where you really want to gain control. Maybe it's saving more for that big purchase. Or maybe you saw how much was disappearing on impulse buys or eating out. Create a simple rule or allocation for your very next paycheck to address this one area. Decide exactly how much you're moving and where it's going before you spend a dime. And here's the critical part. Try your absolute best to automate it. Set up that automatic transfer the day after payday. This one habit changed everything for me, turning financial chaos into predictable progress. Section 8. Mindset, the inner game of control. All right, so we've talked about structuring your finances, tracking your money, building those crucial systems. But here's the kicker. Something that trips up even the most organized people. Your control point isn't purely about spreadsheets and apps. It's deeply, sometimes uncomfortably, psychological. Think of it like trying to build muscle at the gym, but constantly telling yourself you're weak or that lifting weights is pointless. Your internal dialogue will always override the best training program. This is the inner game, and it's where your financial control lives or dies. Your beliefs about money, those stories you tell yourself, often unconsciously, dictate your financial behaviors far more than you might realize. These beliefs are like the operating system running in the background of your financial life. Were you told money is scarce and hard to get? That it's the root of all evil? Or maybe you've convinced yourself, I'm just not good with money. Perhaps you view saving as a form of painful deprivation, like forcing yourself to eat Brussels sprouts when all you want is pizza. Every single one of these limiting beliefs acts like a tiny leak, eroding your control point bit by bit, making intentional, powerful financial action feel pointless, overwhelming, or just plain impossible. It's like trying to paddle upstream with a hole in your boat. You're working hard, but you're not getting anywhere. The real, profound shift happens when you actively challenge these ingrained beliefs and consciously choose to adopt empowering ones. This isn't just positive thinking fluff. It's strategic reframing that changes your emotional relationship with money, and therefore, your behavior. Let's take those examples. Instead of seeing saving as giving something up or depriving myself, reframe it as paying my future self or buying my future freedom. Suddenly, it's not a loss, it's an investment in a better tomorrow. Instead of viewing tracking your spending as a punishment for being bad with money, reframe it as gaining clarity and power, like using a fitness tracker to understand your body and optimize your health. This simple mental switch can make all the difference between dreading a task and feeling empowered by it. This is the surprising insight often shared by financial gurus, the kind of truth that hits you after you've tried all the systems and they still didn't work. Personal finance is often cited as being 80% behavior and mindset, and only 20% mechanics and knowledge. You can have the perfect budget template, the most sophisticated investment strategy, and know every financial ratio under the sun. But if your internal dialogue is constantly telling you you're incapable, underserving, or doomed to struggle, that mental chatter will sabotage your best efforts every single time. Building your control point, solidifying your grasp on your financial future, means aligning your mindset, your deep-seated beliefs and attitudes with your desired financial outcomes. It's about training your inner game to support, not undermine your external actions. This brings us to a crucial point for reflection. Ask yourself, what is one negative belief you currently hold about money or your ability to manage it? Really sit with it. Where did that belief come from? Was it something you heard growing up, a conclusion you drew from a past mistake, or something you picked up from friends or media? And most importantly, how does that belief currently impact your financial decisions and actions today? Identifying that belief is the first critical step to changing it. This one habit, identifying and challenging your money beliefs, changed everything for me. Okay, so we've talked about building that solid control point, understanding where your money goes, setting up systems, making conscious choices. Now, let's circle back to something everyone wants more of: income. It seems intuitive, right? More money equals better finances. But what if that's not always the case? People often underestimate the true power of income. It isn't just more money, it's potential energy. And whether that potential becomes financial power or just evaporates depends entirely on the system you have in place, that control point we've been building. Once you have a strong control point, increasing your income becomes incredibly, almost unfairly powerful. It's no longer just more money to lose or more money to cover leaks, but more fuel for a highly efficient engine. Your control point is the engine's design and efficiency. Income is the fuel. Pouring more fuel into a well-tuned, high-performance engine, you go faster, further. Pouring more fuel into a leaky, sputtering mess, you just create a bigger, more expensive mess on the garage floor. A higher income, directed by an intentional system, allows you to accelerate savings goals, invest more aggressively, pay off debt faster than you thought possible, and build wealth quicker. The engine is ready to handle the extra fuel. Consider two people getting a surprise $10,000 annual raise. Person A has a solid control point. They track spending, have clear goals, know where their money goes. That $10K raise, they immediately slot $5,000 into accelerated debt repayment or investments and use the other $5,000 for intentional upgrades they planned. Maybe finally building that emergency fund or saving for a down payment because they know where it fits into their system. Person B, no control point. The $10,000 lands, they feel richer, maybe buy a few more impulse items, eat out more often, subscribe to another streaming service, and 6 months later, they feel just as stressed, if not more so, because their spending just expanded to fill the new income. Where did it all go? Becomes their frustrated mantra. It's like leveling up in a game, but forgetting to upgrade your inventory management. Suddenly, you have all this rare loot, but nowhere to put it. And you're still stuck running slow because your bags are full. Don't let your financial inventory overflow. Here's the surprising, maybe even uncomfortable truth that challenges common thinking. Increasing your income before you have your spending and savings under control often just increases your financial stress and complexity. It sounds crazy, right? More money should mean less stress. But if you don't know where your current money is going, you definitely won't know where more money is going. Income is a powerful lever. But what does it leverage? It amplifies your current financial state. If your state is one of debt, chaos, and unmanaged spending, the lever amplifies debt, chaos, and unmanaged spending. If your state is one of conscious spending, saving, and investing, the lever amplifies savings, investing, and growth. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to make sure that lever is amplifying growth. The cause is building the control point. The effect is that income becomes a rocket booster, not just extra baggage. Without the cause, control, the effect of more income can actually be negative. This brings us to a really critical action step, one that will brutally reveal the strength of your control point. Ask yourself this: if your income increased by 20% next month, exactly how would you allocate that extra money using your current system or the system you're building? Write down the specific percentages or dollar amounts for saving, investing, debt repayment, and spending. If you have to pause and think, good question, or if you can't answer this with relative precision right now, it's a clear sign your control point needs strengthening. This isn't about having a 20% raise now. It's a diagnostic tool. Can your system handle more fuel efficiently? All right, let's talk about taking that financial power you're building and using it to literally construct the life you want down the road. Because exercising your financial control point today isn't just about being good with money in the moment. It is a direct, tangible investment in your future self. Think of it like putting bricks in place for a house you plan to live in years from now. Every single conscious decision you make, whether that's choosing to save a portion of your paycheck, deliberately investing money instead of letting it sit idle, or aggressively paying down high-interest debt, those are not abstract financial maneuvers. They are concrete acts of building the freedom, the security, and the wide-open options you want to have later in life. This isn't just some feel-good idea. It's profoundly practical. That dollar you unconsciously almost spent on, say, another fancy coffee or a random impulse purchase, when you catch yourself, exercise your control point and direct that dollar consciously somewhere else. It transforms its potential. Directed towards a savings goal, it contributes to a future experience. Maybe that trip you've always dreamed of, or the down payment on something important. Directed towards paying off debt, it buys you back future income you would have lost to interest. And directed towards investing, well, that's where the real magic happens. Consider the example from the description. A young professional decides to automate just $200 a month into a low-cost index fund. On its own, $200 a month might feel almost insultingly small when you think about building wealth. You might think, okay, great, that's $2,400 a year, big deal. But this is where most people miss the truly surprising insight. Building significant wealth isn't primarily about perfectly timing the market or finding that one hot stock everyone is talking about. Often when it's already too late, let's be honest, chasing hot stocks feels more like gambling at a poorly lit casino than strategic investing. The most powerful force you have at your disposal is consistency, driven by your control point, leveraging the principle of compounding. Compounding is often called the eighth wonder of the world for a reason. That $200 a month consistently invested, month after month, year after year, doesn't just add up linearly. It grows, and then that growth earns growth. It snowballs. Over 20, 30, or even more years, that seemingly small, consistent act of directing $200 with intention can compound into hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's a future self empowered, secure, and full of options, built by small, seemingly boring acts of control today. The surprising truth is that your willingness to consistently direct money where it serves your future is far more impactful than trying to be a market guru. Every single dollar you intentionally control and allocate is not just a transaction. It's a vote for your future prosperity, casting a ballot for the version of you who has achieved financial freedom. Now let's make this personal. Take a moment and fast forward 5, 10, or even 20 years in your mind. What does financial freedom specifically look like to you in that future? Get detailed. Is it covering all your bills effortlessly? Having enough passive income to reduce work hours? Buying a specific property? Traveling? What specific actions, however small they might seem, can you take today, right now, exercising your control point, to move one step closer to making that future self a reality? So, we understand the power of owning your financial control point, that place where you make conscious decisions about your money instead of letting it happen to you. But here's the truth, and it's a crucial one. While the principle of owning your financial control is absolutely universal, its practical application is deeply, wonderfully personal. You don't apply it the same way whether you're just starting out or you're already building significant wealth. It's not a one-size-fits-all roadmap. It's a compass that guides you from wherever you are right now, tailored to your current terrain and your ultimate destination. Imagine it like a fitness journey. The core principle is consistent effort, smart strategy, and proper form, right? Universal stuff. But the training plan for someone who's never run a mile is wildly different from an elite athlete training for an ultra-marathon. Your financial plan works the same way. If you're currently in the broke beginner phase, maybe you're struggling with debt, living paycheck to paycheck, or just feel overwhelmed. Your financial control point starts with the absolute bedrock: survival and stability. You're not trying to become a venture capitalist yet. You're learning to walk financially without tripping over your own feet. Control here means gaining ruthless awareness, tracking every single dollar coming in and going out. Yes, every single one. It means getting brutally honest about essential versus non-essential spending and stopping the financial leaks that are silently draining you dry. Think of it like patching all the tiny holes in a boat before you even think about sailing across the lake. Your most immediate goal: find any amount, no matter how small. Seriously, even $5 or $10 this week, to direct towards that crucial first step, an emergency fund. Your control point at this stage is about building the initial foundation for survival and stability, one small, deliberate, intentional brick at a time. Now, if you're a growing earner, perhaps you have a stable job, a decent income, but you feel like you should be further ahead, or maybe you're just coasting. Your financial control point is about optimization and acceleration. You're past basic survival. You're ready to start running with purpose. Control here means automating your forward momentum, setting up automatic transfers to savings and investments the moment your paycheck hits, before you even have a chance to spend it. It's about strategically paying down debt, perhaps focusing on the highest interest rates first, like tackling that pesky credit card debt with the fury it deserves. It's about aligning your spending with your deepest values. Are you really getting value from that subscription you never use? Or could that money build your future faster? And a huge one at this stage: preventing lifestyle inflation from stealthily eroding your hard-earned gains. Just because you earn more doesn't mean every single expense category should automatically increase. Your control point is about making your money work smarter and faster for you, accelerating your journey towards bigger goals. This is where the optimization phase of training begins. You're not just exercising, you're refining your technique and increasing your intensity strategically. And finally, if you're an ambitious builder, someone focused on scaling a business, making significant investments, or creating large-scale impact through your work or resources, your financial control point shifts to leverage and strategic allocation. You're no longer just managing personal cash flow. You're managing resources for significant growth and impact. Control means mastering complex cash flow management to seize opportunities quickly, making strategic allocation decisions that generate substantial returns, intelligently managing risk, because growth always comes with risk, and using your accumulated resources to create even more income, more assets, more opportunities, more impact. Your control point is about using money as a powerful tool to build something bigger than just your personal comfort, like a master architect planning a complex, multi-story structure. Here's the surprising insight, the thing that often makes people pause. Regardless of whether you're patching leaks as a broke beginner, optimizing processes as a growing earner, or leveraging assets as an ambitious builder. The core process of gaining and maintaining financial control is fundamentally the same. It always boils down to three things: awareness, understanding exactly where your money is, where it's going, and where it could go; intentional design, making conscious, deliberate decisions about where you want your money to go based on your goals, your budget, your investment plan, your spending values; and consistent action, building the habits and systems that ensure you stick to your design day in and day out. You're applying the same foundational principles, the same financial form, just to different numbers, different challenges, and different goals. It's like the fundamental movements in fitness: the squat, the push-up, the hinge. You just load them differently depending on your strength level and training phase. Trying to manage complex investments before you even track your monthly expenses, that's like trying to deadlift 500 pounds on your first day at the gym. You gotta earn the right to scale. And fighting lifestyle inflation? It's like constantly adding weight to your barbell just because you can. Even if your form is breaking down, slow down. Focus on the fundamentals at your current level. So let's make this practical right now. Thinking about where you are on this journey, are you primarily in the beginner, growing earner, or ambitious builder phase? Just pick the one that feels most accurate to your current reality. Based on that, identify one specific challenge related to financial control that you face this week. Be specific. Maybe it's resisting an impulse purchase. Maybe it's finally setting up that automatic transfer. Maybe it's reviewing a specific investment opportunity. Now, based on the principle of intentional control we just discussed, awareness, design, action, what is one concrete step you can take this week to address that single challenge? Write it down. Make it specific, tangible, and something you can genuinely do in the next 7 days. Don't overwhelm yourself with a 5-year plan. Focus on this one concrete step. Taking that single step, no matter how small it feels, is you consciously grabbing the steering wheel of your financial future. So here's the core takeaway we've built towards. Your financial reality isn't this mysterious, uncontrollable force acting upon you from the outside. It's a direct, often predictable outcome of your financial control point. Think of it like steering a ship. Are you at the helm, or are you just being tossed around by the waves of impulse, fear, advertising, and external pressures? When you operate on default, letting your money flow based on convenience or emotion, you're constantly reacting. You're stressed, you feel trapped, and progress feels frustratingly slow or even non-existent, regardless of how much income you're bringing in. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hose while there are massive holes in the bottom. The money just slips through your fingers like water through a sieve. You see others making progress, building their zones of freedom, and you wonder why it's so hard for you. You chase the next paycheck, hoping that will be the one that fixes everything. But the leaks in your system ensure you never feel truly secure or free. You continue to dread checking your accounts, continue to wonder where on earth it all went, and continue to feel like money is this overwhelming source of anxiety rather than the powerful tool it is for building the life you genuinely want. Here's a surprising truth, often hidden in plain sight. Most people think their problem is earning more, when in reality, it's directing what they already have. It's not about willpower. It's about awareness and having a simple system. Just like you wouldn't try to lose weight without knowing what you eat, you can't build wealth without knowing where your money is going. If you ignore this fundamental lesson of establishing your control point, you'll stay stuck in that reactive cycle, forever playing defense instead of offense with your finances. You'll keep feeling like money is hard or that you're bad with money, when the truth is, you just haven't installed your own intentional operating system yet. Even starting with small, imperfect steps, tracking one category, setting one small goal, changes the trajectory immediately. You gain clarity, replace passive reaction with conscious choice, and start building momentum. That anxiety you feel about money, it starts to dissolve, replaced by a powerful sense of agency. You stop being controlled by money and start actively, intentionally directing it. This is how you step definitively into your earn flow zone. The most important moment to take control isn't when you have enough money, because you'll never feel like you do without control. Or when the perfect budgeting tool exists. It doesn't, and you don't need it to start. Or when you finally feel like it. You won't. Not until you start. It's right now, today, this moment. This brings us to your single, non-negotiable step, right here, right now. Your single, non-negotiable step today. You are going to recommit to, or start, if you haven't before, tracking every single dollar you spend for the next 3 days, not 30 days, not a year, just 72 hours. No judgment about the spending, no changes yet. Pure awareness gathering. Get the data. You can use a simple note on your phone, a spreadsheet, a piece of paper, whatever is easiest and most likely to actually happen. Just jot down everything you spend money on. This simple act is the absolute cornerstone of taking back your financial control point. It's the first step in installing your operating system. Try this for 3 days and see what you discover. Ask yourself, what did I expect to see versus what did I actually spend money on? Do this one thing, see what you discover, and be ready to build. Wind down, reflective close. So we've come full circle. We started by talking about taking control, about finding your financial control point. And that's truly the one big takeaway from all of this. It's not about earning $1 million tomorrow. It's about starting to direct the dollars you have today. The potential long-term benefit if you consistently apply this principle, starting with that simple act of tracking, is immense. You move from constant financial anxiety and feeling powerless to building real agency, clarity, and the tangible progress towards the life you envision. You start seeing your financial future not as something that happens to you, but something you are actively, deliberately building. But deeper insight here is that money often acts as a mirror to our mindset. If you feel chaotic and reactive inside, your finances will likely reflect that chaos. If you cultivate intention and awareness, your finances will begin to reflect that order and direction. Discipline isn't a punishment, it's the pathway to freedom. The discipline to track for 3 days gives you the freedom of awareness. The discipline to make conscious choices gives you the freedom of direction. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about progress, not perfection. You have the power within you to shift from being managed by your money to managing your money. That shift starts with awareness, born from action. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around.